All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. This one is entitled Prepping for Putin as Russia Crushes Ukraine. It is August 12th, 2025, and we are going to be talking about, well, preparation for the meeting in Alaska between Putin and Trump. There's a lot of worry about another war happening between Iran and Israel. There are water crises going on across the world and just a lot of other problems. So, usual stuff, and we will be talking about it and doing what we can. So, we appreciate you being here. If you could hit that like button to the subscribe thing, that would be great. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. They are a highly rated precious metals company that we have sponsored with on the channels. If you'd like to turn your IRA into gold and silver, this is the way to do it. They are not well, just check them out, okay? I can talk them up, but there's a learning link in the description. It says Learn with PrepperNow, and it's a link to the Augusta Precious Metals. In the sponsorship area, we have a lot of sponsors now because, well, we do good work. We have the OUPES Mega 1. We have the ITEHIL reverse osmosis system for emergencies, amongst also the JASE case, and of course, Prepper Nerd. So if you are into such things and prepping, and we think you should be because there's a lot going on, those are the places to go to check it. Okay, so let's get started on our intel of what is going on for August 12th, 2025. Trump's Pentagon plans to create a domestic civil disturbance quick reaction force with hundreds of National Guard troops to swiftly deploy to United States cities during protests or civil unrest. Japan's largest newspaper, Yomiuri Shimbun, sues Perplexity AI for copyright violations. India and China are going to resume direct flights after nearly 5 years amid growing U.S.-India tariff tensions. U.S. layoffs exploded to 62,075 in July, highest since Rona due to AI displacement and federal workforce reductions. The AI displacement is really getting going. And it's funny, folks, whenever I do videos on the other channel that are specifically about that, they never really go anywhere. And I'm of the personal belief that everything here is done now by AI and artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to screening and stuff. And I think that there is a real, I don't know. I don't think they like it when you make people concerned about such things. I did a short today about this thing called AI 2027, which is an academic paper done by a bunch of people that are in the business. And they're saying that by 2030, 2035, we're going to be in very dire straits of an existential style. And by 2040, in this hypothetical scenario they put out, basically, we're going to be wiped out. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know I'm prepping. 50,271 migrants crossed the English Channel in small boats since Keir Starmer has taken office. Trump considering a major lawsuit against Fed Chair Jerome Powell over his gross incompetence when it comes to the renovations of the Federal Reserve, the Eccles building, as it's also known. Blaze breaks out near the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant in Ukraine. Very bad. Elon Musk says Apple is unfairly excluding X and Grok from App Store lists while promoting ChatGPT. Elon Musk says Apple behaves like it's owned by Sam Altman's OpenAI and threatens to sue Apple over antitrust violations related to rankings of the Grok AI. Italian athlete died at the World Games in China. UK has added India to a list of countries whose nationals convicted of crimes will face immediate deportation without the option to appeal from within the UK. Meteorite ripped through a Georgia homeowner's roof is 20 million years older than Earth, scientists say. Research paper predicting that artificial intelligence will go rogue in 2027 and lead to humanity's extinction within a decade is making waves in the tech world, according to the BBC. This video I did on the short. China's internet regulator ordered local tech companies, including ByteDance, Alibaba Group, and Tencent Holdings, to suspend their purchases of NVIDIA chips. U.S. Homeland Security will acquire advanced iris biometric scanning technology from By2, or By Squared, I guess it is, technologies for ICE to identify individuals in seconds from virtually anywhere. AI-powered radar can spy on cell phones and phone calls from 10 feet away, exposing new privacy risks. Researchers using wave radar, same radar that is self-driving cars and 5G, teamed with AI, decoded vibrations with a 60% transcribe accuracy of what was being said. Netanyahu will allow Palestinians to leave the Gaza Strip as Israel prepares military offensive. OpenAI's Sam Altman is backing a new company that plans to connect human brains to computers. State Department spokeswoman Bruce says Trump-Putin meeting on Friday is not a negotiation. UK government urges citizens to delete emails to save water. Evidence implicates Russia in a sophisticated breach of the United States federal court PACER system, compromising sealed records, including those tied to national security cases. So, that's right, baby. Best comprehensive consolidated report on the web right here. You're darn right it is. That's why I get the crap I get. If it wasn't good, I wouldn't get any crap. Mexico expels 26 high-ranking cartel members to the United States in a deal with Trump administration. France, Germany, and the United Kingdom are ready to trigger snapback sanctions unless Tehran resumes nuclear talks by the end of August. Vatican is facing accusations of using a skeleton key for money laundering by illegally altering bank transfers, changing names and account numbers after transactions and concealing the identities of both senders and recipients. White hat hackers are now volunteering to protect U.S. water utility facilities from outside threats. John Brennan has fled to Austria. MSNBC set up a makeshift studio to make it look and appear like he was still in the United States, according to Roger Stone. Russia alleges that Ukraine is preparing a major false flag against its own population to sabotage peace talks. Hopefully that's not true. Texas has approved a new redistricting map that adds 5 Republican seats, removes 5 Democrat seats, and possibly eliminates Jasmine Crockett's position. Emergency crews are on scene of a train derailment east of Gordon in Palo Pinto, Texas, involving 35 cars may be carrying hazardous materials. Democrats in Washington are distributing whistles to criminals and homeless people so they can blow them before anybody from the police tries to make an arrest. Ghislaine Maxwell now appears eligible for work release assignments outside the minimum security camp where she was transferred. Russian troops make massive advances in Ukraine just days before Trump set to meet with Putin. United States National Guard members walk at the D.C. Armory after U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement to deploy the National Guard and federalize the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. They're going in and they're setting up camp and they're ready to get going on it. South Africa is going to offer U.S. a new deal to avoid the 30% tariff. Ukraine Zelensky has ruled out ceding Donbas region in any deal with Russia. He also says the U.S. summit in Alaska is a personal victory for Putin and that Russia is planning new offensives on 3 parts of Ukraine front, all according to Zelensky. Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un have vowed to strengthen cooperation days ahead of Putin's summit in Alaska with Donald Trump. Zelensky has transferred $50 million to the United Arab Emirates. Turkish newspaper ITEHIL has stated. Turkish newspaper ITEHIL has published bank accounts of companies in the UAE to which Zelensky's circle transfers $50 million monthly. Companies are linked to Audrey Gimrian, the alleged manager of funds obtained through corruption. This is kind of, if you remember a few weeks ago, they were trying to get rid of these anti-corruption groups called SNABU and another one. Well, that was all done because this was starting to come out, and all this is basically done is consolidated Zelensky's power. Israel is likely to start another war with Iran before December, according to Foreign Policy Mag. Israel is likely to launch another war with Iran before December, perhaps even as early as late August. Both countries' strategic calculus suggests it will be even more violent. This will be the big daddy. As a result, coming war will likely be far bloodier than the first. If U.S. President Donald Trump caves to Israeli pressure again and joins the fight, the United States could face a full-blown war with Iran that will make Iraq look easy by comparison. Ukrainian army in Donetsk is on the verge of complete collapse. Massive breakthrough by Russian forces near Pokrovsk a few days before the historic rally between Trump and Putin in Alaska. NATO is running out of cards. China orders tech companies to suspend NVIDIA chip purchases due to security concerns. This move clearly suggests that China may already be producing similar chips. French air traffic controller broadcast Free Palestine directly to the cockpit of an El Al flight as it was taking off. It's an Israeli airline. ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt claims Christianity is the root of anti-Semitism, pointing to the, quote, accusation that Jews killed Christ, end quote. Western Wall in Jerusalem vandalized with anti-war messaging. It was vandalized on Monday with graffiti condemning Israel's ongoing war in Gaza. Authorities said, triggering widespread condemnation from religious leaders and politicians. There is a holla, you know what, in Gaza. It was graffitied in Hebrew on the southern portion of the wall, the holiest site where Jews are allowed to pray, located in the Israeli annexed old city of Jerusalem. Similar message was also scrawled on the wall of the Great Synagogue elsewhere in the city. Italy's defense minister has posited sanctions on Israel, calling the situation in Gaza unacceptable and contrary to the founding values of our civilization. What is happening in Gaza is unacceptable. We are not facing a military operation with collateral damage, but the pure denial of the law and the founding values of civilization. Israel is likely to launch another war with Iran before December, perhaps even as early as late August. Iran is expecting and preparing for the attack, according to Foreign Policy Mag. Zelensky refused to withdraw troops from the Donbas. Quote, we will not leave Donbas. If we leave Donbas voluntarily or under pressure, we will start a third war, Zelensky said. The Ukrainian president also refused to discuss any possible territorial exchanges with Russia, indirectly requesting a meeting with Putin and Trump. During the call, so that I'm not ready to discuss Ukraine's territories, as this is exclusively a matter of our Constitution. And honestly, with all due respect, I'm not ready to discuss these issues over the phone. These are serious matters that are resolved in the leaders' level, he told journalists. Given the rhetoric, it is unlikely that any breakthrough should be expected from the meeting between Putin and Trump in Anchorage. Russian Ministry of Defense has stated that, according to information received from several channels, the Kiev regime and Zelensky are preparing a provocation to disrupt the Russian-American summit. armed forces of Ukraine have brought foreign journalists to the Kharkiv region to make reports. Planned scenario is as followed. On Friday, Kiev will strike with a UAV one of the densely populated residential areas or a hospital with a large number of civilian casualties. This will be immediately documented by the imported journalists, and the blame will be placed on Russia. That is what we call a false flag. Police fine a man 300 sterling or $400 and give him 6 points because he was riding a skateboard. The man given 6 points on his driving license before he even has one, which is an automatic ban, because he used a skateboard and he didn't have insurance. Video is crazy. I put it over onto my Telegram. Trump administration's 2024 State Department Human Rights Report toned down criticism of allies like Israel and El Salvador, dropped most LGBTQ rights concerns, and reframed Russia's invasion of Ukraine as the Russia-Ukraine war. Shifted focus to criticizing Brazil, South Africa, European restrictions on right-wing speech, Israel's section amid Gaza's humanitarian crisis despite high casualties, and El Salvador's record was described as clean despite past reports of abuses, because Reuters likes drug addicts and gang members. Overhaul followed a purge of the State Department's Human Rights Bureau and rebranding toward Western values. Netanyahu told I-24 he feels a historic and spiritual mission and strongly identifies with the vision of Greater Israel, encompassing land beyond Israel's current borders, including areas slated for a Palestinian state and parts of Jordan and Egypt. He framed his role as part of a mission of generations for the Jewish people. The theory of Greater Israel is alive and well. Mercedes-Benz CEO Ola Kalianis warns Europe's car industry that it faces collapse, a perfect storm, Chinese competition, U.S. tariffs, weak luxury demand, EU 2035 petrol diesel bans. He urges a reality check calling for incentives and lower EV charging costing instead of strict deadlines. Pro-Palestinian activists in the United States damaged the car and home of John Ekri, director of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF. Quote, death to GHF, it said. Russian breach on Ukraine's eastern front line has triggered a wave of indignation and confusion in Kiev ahead of a crucial summit between Trump and Putin, in which the Russian president is expected to try to lock in battlefield gains. Ukraine's woes doesn't end at Pokrovsk. Overnight, the Russians managed to break through further west from Chasiv Yar towards the Ukrainian fortress of Konstantinivka. Local reports confirm Russians' infantry moving into the eastern part of Stopochki and Prodeknya, which are basically suburbs of Konstantinivka. Donetsk line continues to falter, putting immense pressure on Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. Russian delegation is expected to begin arriving in Alaska to prepare for Trump-Putin summit by later today. NOTAM has been issued over the airspace of Anchorage, Alaska. Airspace will be closed on August 15th, day of the meeting between U.S. President Trump and Russian President Putin, due to VIP movement until August 16th. Movement will be restricted within a radius of 48.3 kilometers at an altitude of up to 5.5 kilometers. Massive fires erupted just west of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Smoke can be seen horizon by locals in the area. Firefighting operations continue, but due to the area being mined, the firefighting operation is going slow. India issues a NOTAM over the Bay of Bengal in the Indian Ocean, stretch of about 2,500 kilometers, 20th to the 21st of August, indicating ICBM test. Excuse me. Ukrainian Defense Ministry says in the Pokrovsk direction alone, Russians have concentrated forces numbering over 110,000 personnel. Ukrainian President Zelensky has sharply rejected pulling back Ukrainian forces from parts of eastern Ukraine. Quote, "We cannot do this," he said. "What is the compromise? We'll be in NATO, in the EU? I haven't heard anything, not a single proposal that would guarantee that a new war won't start tomorrow." Putin-Trump summit will be held at Elmendorf Air Force Base, Anchorage, Alaska, according to CNN. Iranian locals from Tehran report seeing at least 3 unidentified projectiles launched. It later came out that these were missile tests. They're getting ready for the third and final war with Israel. So Putin's advisor is now also endorsing Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize that would make Azerbaijan, Cambodia, Pakistan, and Netanyahu, and a couple more I can't remember. And, well, audience erosion is accelerating in broadcast and cable compared with earlier 2025. Even the stabilizing effect of sports unable to offset sharp primetime declines. Only Fox stands out as a notable exception. But hey, everybody's going to be liberal. Strong growth at Fox News bucks the broader downturn in cable. Comcast is facing the most severe collapse in cable total day viewership. They're down almost 50% year over year. Overall, the weakness in viewership is broad-based across entertainment, news, and lifestyle genres. Comcast viewership declined the most quarter to date, 49% year over year, third quarter 25 to date. Why? Because you got guys like me out there doing real work. I'm not paid for by some big rich bastard. I come here and I do it because I think you deserve the truth. They're going to be out there. They're going to put a bunch of crap out there to take your mind off things and say, hey, everything is terrible. The Trump is doing a terrible job and everybody's broke and all that. But when you're looking at really numbers and everything, CPI is coming in lower. People are kind of generally going well. They're about to flip, I believe, Pennsylvania to complete red. And that's not even going to be a blue wall state anymore. There's a lot of things going on that people are okay with. So it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes. And yeah, we'll see. So, yes, Lonnie Beatty, thank you very much, buddy. That's why I back you as well. I back all of you guys. Yeah, I would imagine that. That's an interesting comment right there. Water chicken. Says, I was listening to another podcast earlier. There was a theory stated that the dying audiences on TV and social media were funded by USAID and just fake bots. Let me tell you what's going on, folks. It's called manufactured consent. It's called astroturfing. They are not winning. Their motives on the progressive fascist left are not really aligned with anyone. Most people rebuke it. However, they've got the eyes and ears because they have captured, since the 1990s and the Telecommunications Act, a lot of the different broadcast places. That's why they're into all this stuff. That's why they're working hard to be here, to manufacture the consent. They know that most people are not okay with a lot of this crap, and it is total crap. They're losing. They're dying. And they can do whatever the heck they want to do to me. It does not change the fact. They are losing the war. Okay? Keep hitting that like button, to the subscribe thing, darken out the bell. Folks, you're doing better than you know. Okay? But guess what? This is all going to go on, and then eventually they're going to not really like it too much, and they're going to need to change the narrative, and that narrative is going to be changed by what we like to call war. It's coming. Keep prepping. Keep doing the things. Keep stacking, stocking, and sticking to your plan. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals, folks. We appreciate you. Join us on Gab, Minds, Twitter, X, True Social, Subscribe Star, and locals. We're going to get to our schedule here pretty soon. Sorry about a busy couple days. I get ready to go back to work, but we should be able to do the crisis report brief and this one nightly going forward. Really appreciate you. God bless you all. Yes, the people are not stupid. People know, man. People know. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.